Okay, what about now? So am I audible? If someone can confirm me whether I'm audible or not, it will be all right. And by the way, you can also unmute yourself. Uh, you can see my screen, right? I think we are good to start the session. Let me open few things. Projects and let me start recording the session. Oh, recording has been started. All right. Raju, you can see my screen, right? Okay, let me give an overview on generative AI. And then we'll dive into a few other topics that is more related to, for coders. Okay, I presume that, or assume whatever. So I assume that you don't have any knowledge about generative AI. Some of you are already part of a few of our batches, generative AI course, but some of you are completely new to generative AI, if I'm not wrong. You can always raise questions at any point of time by, please unmute yourself and start asking questions. You not to wait till the end of the session. Okay. Let me explain what is generative AI first. The whole idea of generative AI is generate content. That's all. So what kind of content it generates? It can be text. It can be a code, like programming code. It can be images. It can be a video, or it can be even audio. Both text and code should be considered as one. I mean to say, text plus code as one category, because code is also kind of a text, right? So we don't require a separate category for this. Images and videos are one and the same. In fact, video is nothing but a stream of images, isn't it? So this is also we can consider as one category. Of course, audio is totally different category altogether. Right now, predominantly, when we speak about generative AI, we speak about text or code-based models, right? So we call this LLMs, large language models. Why it's been called as large language model? Let me show you an example. Hugging Face, or maybe Olama. Let me sign in. You need to have account for this. You need to sign up. And then here, let me go to, let's take maybe a DC. I'm looking for this code. If you look at this one, it is somewhere around 8.9 GB. That means 16 billion parameter. And we have another variation for this, 236 billion parameter, which is much more effective, but it is very resource intensive. So when we say that it is 236 billion parameter and size is around 133 GB, we have to have at least 150 to 160 uh, gigabytes of VRAM. VRAM means to say GPU, not RAM, not the actual RAM. Here we have this memory, right? This is physical RAM. And we have something called GPU RAM. We call it as VRAM. Here I have around 12 GB, so I can't really load this one parameter because it's around 133 GB. I need to have at least 150 to 160 gigabytes of VRAM. So in order to maintain that, again, I have to have at least 200 gigs of physical RAM. And I need to have a couple of Xeon processors. So which is not, my system is not compatible, to these sort of models. I can only load 16 billion parameter max. Okay, so let me again let me explain what these billion parameters all about. Model is nothing but a function, a simple terms of function. Function. For example, let's take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if I ask you to guess a generalized formula for this data, it is going to be 2 multiplied position. So first position it is 2, second position is 4, third position is 6, so on and so forth. We can easily guess the final position value by this formula, right? So it is, let's take, if I ask you to give 1 or second position value, you can easily insert this 1 or 2 in this formula. It's going to be 204. So we can easily guess that it is 204 for 102nd position value. So here it is like a function. 2 is in fact a parameter. So we can write a function, right? For example, let's take my val n return 2 multiply, sorry, n multiplied with position. We can also give the position here, right? So this is going to be a normal function. So LM models, or in fact any generative AI model, is in fact a function. It will have a bunch of parameters. Here we have 2 parameters. Same way, more the complex, the more complexity of the problem grows, the number of parameters also grows. So 16 billion parameter compared to the 236 is very little. So when it comes to the kind of problem that it can solve, compared to 236 very little. I mean, the capacity is much less. Of course, 236 is much more capable than 16B. Let me give a simple example how it generates the code. So here I have LM Studio, right? One of the tools that we will discuss. If you want to download this tool, the only thing you have to do is go to Google, search for LM Studio. Click on this. Based on your operating system, if you are using Windows, predominantly I think you guys are using Windows, click on this one. Or else by default, based on your operating system, it will be, it is going to show the right operating system exe. So you need to click on this and download the exe file. In the case of Mac, it's going to be DMG or whatever. And then the regular procedure, next, and all. So nothing, nothing new. So you need to follow the setup wizard with the default values. Once you have completed the installation part, you will get something like this. If you, by default, this is the home page, it's going to get displayed. If you want to download any model, you can download straight away from here. These are all free models. Some of these models are gated models. What I mean gated models is, most of these models comes from Hugging Face. There's a platform called Hugging Face, wherein you'll get free open source models. So most of these models comes from here. Okay, you can straight away download it from here too. So you can directly search for a model and click on download, or you can click one of these models that are being displayed here, or else we have another option here, search. You can search right from here. So there are two ways to get the model. One, from homepage itself, or else you can go to search and search for these models. There's something called quantization. Here you can see there's something like Q3, right? Q2, Q4. So I don't want to get into those details uh, because the quantitation is totally a different topic altogether. The idea is to reduce the size of the actual model so that it is going to be fit into any kind of smaller devices like mobile devices or tabs kind of, or even laptops. So you need to search for this model and you need to download it. Once you click on this download, it will get populated right here. So by default, it's not going to get loaded, but it is going to get displayed right here. Okay. For example, let's take that I want to click on this. It's going to get loaded in memory. Let me check what is the amount of space that it has taken. VRAM space. Uh, what about, yeah, it is around 3 GB, right? So it's a very small model comparatively. So if you want to start a new chart, you need to click on new chart. Here you can start typing things. But when it comes to code, if it is normal text, you can by default it's going to select this plain text. If it is a normal query, let's take what is generative AI, it is going to display the plain text response. If it is code, this is not the right format. I will show you an example. Let me stop generating it. Uh, 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 give me palindrome code in Python. I start giving response, but the kind of code that it generates is not, you know, it's difficult to read, even difficult to copy. So better to switch to Markdown. So let me click on Markdown. Now you can see the clear distinction, right, from normal text to that of code. So you can generate code like this. It used to be like we used to learn the basics, right? For example, let's take, we used to have Java stack for web development, or even, I mean, it's not just web development, we can even build mobile applications or desktop applications, right? So let's take Mon, Mean, Ruby on Rails. We used to, we have a lot of stacks to build applications. So for this, we need to learn at least 3 to 6 months basics of that particular stack, right? And then we need to spend at least 3 to 4 years, building applications. Only then we used to, we can able to provide end-to-end solution to the client. Of course, Java requires much more, not just 3 to 4 years, isn't it? So now things got changed a lot. Thing is that with the help, just by learning the basics, 3 to 6 months, spending on that particular stack, with the help of generative AI, at least you can some part of it, like you can replace the 3 to 4 years expertise that you require. So you can manage to build an end-to-end solution just with this one. So 3 to 6 months of basics and then generative AI, wherein you can generate code something like this. Of course, it's not going to generate end-to-end, but you need to stitch things. So you need to generate code in small chunks, and then you need to stitch it together so that you can provide end-to-end solution. There are much better solutions, other than this LM Studio. Let me show you two more, but if you have any questions, whatever we discussed till now, if you have any questions, let me know. I think you have that ability to unmute yourself. Anyone has any difficulty to unmute themselves? Pavek? Okay, either looks like, okay. I'm going to allow mic for everyone. Now you can unmute yourself. Now you can speak out. Any questions till now? So we have discussed only one of the
No,
tools
sir.
that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, sir. As of now, no, sir. It's very clear.
Okay, so till now, we're going to discuss a lot of other tools too, like Ada, Bolt DII, Continue, Tab 9, and LM Studio is one of it. So we even discuss MSTI, and we have another one, GPT for all. So we'll discuss these tools, and thereafter we will discuss these extensions or tools that we have here. These are much more powerful than this one. And we will even see examples on how to refactor a code, how to create documentation, or how to produce code explanation, how to fix bugs, if at all the code has any, code completion, generation, test cases also. So this is more, this particular webinar is more centric towards developers who handles a lot of code, right? Right, any other questions? All right. I thought you can unmute yourself, but I didn't realize
No,
that.
sir. No, sir.
Yeah, now you can unmute. Anyway, the other tool that I want to show, I will get into bolt.diy, wherein we can build an end-to-end solution, at least to some extent. Okay. Let me open this one. So bolt dot, okay, this one. Let me open terminal. These projects require certain amount of configuration. So, before even you execute the project, you need to configure virtual environment. So I'll explain that. So basically, there is something called UV package manager, wherein you need to create virtual environment, and thereafter you need to enable it, something like this. And thereafter, you can start working on the project. So here I have the project in bolt.diy. So I'm going to switch to that. Here, this is the project. So we need to, this is more, Node.js based kind of. So I'm going to install this one, npm, and thereafter run dev. This tool is going to be very helpful for web developers. Okay. Okay, so I have to start Olama also in order to access the model. That's the reason it is showing some message. Has difficulty to access models. So once I start Olama, I should see this icon. Okay, here I have the page. Okay. Basically, there's something called Olama. So you need to download this Olama again from this site, Olama, or else, yeah, you can see that olama.com/download. Based on your operating system, you need to choose one of these, and you need to click on Windows. And then the installation procedure is going to be the typical one. Next, next, next. Just you need to follow this setup reset. That's all. Nothing new. If you really want to see how that procedure is going to be, it's going to be something like this. The download, and thereafter you'll get the exe file. So once you get once the exe been downloaded, you need to click on it, and then you have this option install. And once you complete the installation, here open a terminal and then search for like Olama. They should show these options. That means that Olama has been successfully installed. If you still have difficulty to get this one, restart your machine. Immediately after that, open terminal and then try this one. And make sure that whenever you restart a machine, search for Olama, because you need to start this Olama service. Okay. You need to click on this. just click on once. So the window will not get open automatically, but when you click on this tray icon, you will see this Olama icon. So that means that Olama service is running. Okay. Only then, when you search for this one, you will get the list of models. By default, you're not going to get any of these models. You need to download it. So Olama, in order to download the model, what you need to do is Olama full and the model name. Now, the immediate question is, where do we get these models? These are all free models that you get right from Olama site itself. Here you have this option, right? Models, and click on that. And maybe you require to sign up to this one. I already signed up and signed in. So here, let's take a DeepSeek, right? Which is a very popular model nowadays. Here you can see that these are the models that has the tag DeepSeek. Let's click on this one. Here you can see Olama run DeepSeek v3. So basically the run is nothing but kind of full plus running in your local machine. But it's always better to download this one by machine full and then Olama run. Okay. So once you pull the model, once it got downloaded, Olama list and then Olama run. Let's take that you want to start something like this, right? Code llama. But here in this case, I don't want to run this model. I want to make use of the model from bolt.diy. Okay, here you need to click on Olama. Here you can see I have a few options. It is going to exactly match with this list. Okay, unless you have the model right here, it's not going to reflect here. So I think I better go with this one, right? DeepSeek. Okay, here I have another one. Okay, both are same. Let me click on this, and now I can start, writing prompt. Prompt in sense, let's say that you want to build an end-to-end solution. Let's take, I want a web page that displays hello world message, which has to be built using React front end, Django backend, SQLite for DB. Okay, I'm going to click on enter. Now I started processing it. So what it does is, we have mentioned the model, right? So it's going to load into GPU. Now you can see it's 11.3. Earlier it used to be 3, right, for another model. Now as I switch to another more DeepSeek model, now it is occupying almost 11.2 plus 6. So things are going to be much more slow because it has been offloaded to the physical RAM. But anyway, for demonstration, it's good enough. Let me Now you can see that it started creating files. It started even creating code. You can see the complete set of files that it has to generate for React, for Django, for SQLite, for everything. It's going to get created. You can see that it has created everything. Now it has some difficulty to start the application. That's fine. But we can download this code. Okay. Let me go here. Let me mention it as Django code. Going to paste it here. So let me unzip this one. Start here. Okay. Now you can start working on your own. Now you can open Visual Code and start working on this. Front end, you can see there's React app, right? Back end, you have Django. You can see the URL settings.py, views.py. And of course, these are packages that you have to install in your machine. Okay, I hope you got some idea like how we can utilize these generative AI tools and generate the whole data structure along with code. Okay. So any questions on this? I request you to be more interactive. Um, any questions? Vivek, Johnny, that is for me, Naveen and Veena. All right. We'll move on to the next one, another tool. So far we discussed only one of the tools, LM Studio and Bolt, right? So two tools. Let me go back to the content. And we will discuss the other tools, MSTY and GPT for all. So MSTY is very popular tool for Olama models, whereas LM Studio is more popular for Hugging Face models, right? We have seen both the websites. This is more, that's one of the platforms wherein we can get access to free open source models, Hugging Face. The alternative to this one is Olama. Olama is something this is my favorite website. There are too many models right here, whereas it's in Olama, it's very limited. But whatever that is required to us, it's quite easy to download and run it. Olama, I can say it's complete suite, whereas Hugging Face provides models, but in order to access the models, we need certain setup. We need to have Transformers library and we need to write some code. As Olama, we don't really require that much. Okay, so let me stop this one, bol.diy. I want to demonstrate the other one, Olama models. For example, I have Olama list, right? So if I want to access, if I want to run it immediately, I don't require any, tools like this. Where is the LM Studio? Let me edit this, otherwise it's going to keep on taking space. Olama run. Let's take, I want to run this 5.4, which is Microsoft model. I can run it, right in the terminal itself. You can see that now I got this prompt, right? So let me type a message. Let's take what is Olama in generative AI ecosystem. As of my last update, Olama does not appear to be widely recognized or okay. So it's saying that there is a cutoff date for this model. And even though we are using Olama to access Pi4, but Pi4 is something being provided by Microsoft. So that is the reason it's not giving any response. Let me exit, so /exit. Let me try to access another model, which is the more latest one. And let's take Quen. Maybe this is more latest one. I hope this answers the question. All right, so what is Olama in generative AI ecosystem? Olama appears to be a project or platform within the generative AI ecosystem, but as of my last update in October 2023, there is not widespread recognition of Olama as a well-known entity. So it is responding, but it doesn't contain much information because the cutoff date is October 2023. So that's the reason it has, 1 second, let me accept. Okay. It starts responding, but again, the cutoff date is October 23rd. So let me explain what is this cutoff date. So every model, whatever the model that someone generate, there will be some cutoff. I mean to say, where is the notepad here? Cutoff date means, let's take that whoever generates the model, they take the data, right? They trained it to generate the model, but this require a neural network. We predominantly use transformers, which is one of the architectures that is available right now to generate generative AI models, and then it generates the model. But the data, the very data that we provide, let's take that is March 9th, 2025. So we have I have provided data up to March 9th, 2025. So we have trained the model and we got the model. Once we provide this model to public, or let's take that it has been confined to your own organization, the cutoff date is going to be March 9th itself. Let's take that someone is trying to utilize this model on October 2025 or maybe October 2026. Then if at all he asks any question that is more after March 9th, 2025, or anywhere in between March 9th, 2025 and 2026, then they will you start getting response something like this. So my last update in October 23, there is not widespread recognition of that particular question or the keyword that you ask for, the concept that you ask for. So that is what this cutoff date is all about. So there are certain limitations to the generative models that we have. Of course, there is a way to overcome with that problem. There's something called tools. We can use something like Tably or SERP API tools, wherein it's going to get access to internet. So if the data is not available in the model, in the given model, then it's going to utilize these tools, one of these tools, or maybe a combination of the tools, and start searching for internet and get the data, and it's going to provide to the model so that it is going to give response. So there are some limitations to the models, LLM models, and we can even we can overcome with that, overcome that problem using tools like Tably or SERP. There are a lot of other tools too. In fact, LLM models are not good at math. Nowadays, things got improved, but it is not good at math or even spelling, very basic spelling. So we have to utilize certain tools to overcome that problem. Okay. I spoke about MSTY. Let me MSTY. The MSTY is very good at Olama, accessing Olama models. So it's a kind of, they provide a graphical user interface. You not to build it from scratch. You can straight away jump in and start utilizing it. So once you download these models, let me show you MSTY. What is MSTY? There should be something called MSTY here. How did I miss that? Okay, let me open this. Yeah, here it is. You download it, like, here you have the link, or else you can simply search in Google. Archana, do you have any difficulty to join the session? Looks like you logged in a couple of times. All right. I think she has some internet issue. Okay, so you need to go to this link, or else simply search in Google. MSTY, right? You can click on this one. You get landed here. So download Misty. Basically, I prefer this one. So this link, wherein you will get access to both CPU and GPU versions. If you have GPU in your machine, you can utilize this one. Or if you have CPU, you can download this one. So I already downloaded this GPU and install it. Just like the way we install other tools, the default options. I would say you simply need to follow the setup is that's all. Next, by clicking next and all. Download this one. Here you will get this one. So once you install it, you will get our interface like this. Here you can see got Olama. You need to simply click on continue. That's all. You'll get complete access to all the Olama models that you already have. right? So I think we have seen complete list, right? So the same set of models, once you open MSTY, it is going to get displayed right here. You can see that. So you don't require any other setup. For Olama, the best GUI is this one. Okay, you can choose any of these models. Let's take Quen 2.5. Generate a Flask API that has to have two endpoints that wraps machine learning model, one for single row input, another one for batch. So it's going to generate the code now. You can see it is even giving me instruction how to install it, and then it's giving the code, right? So this is one of the best tools for Olama. Of course, we can access other models also, like GUF models. Let's take, I have a bunch of models, right here, LM Studio. I can access it even, I can access those models too. For example, here you can see local AI models, and click on it, and then import GGF models. You need to point out the path where you have these models. By default, this is going to, in the LM Studio models are going to sit in your users, the username. In my case, the username is PDAMO, but in your case, it's going to be different. And .cache LM Studio models, you will get a complete downloaded GGF file right here from this path. And you need to click on that one. So for example, let's take the block. I want to select this one. You can see, do you want to simply link to that particular one, or you want to have your own copy in MSTY? I want to have a copy so that it's going to be much faster. And it's configuring now, right? Now you can see model DeepSeek code 6.7 billion instruct Q4KS, copy to your library. So now I can access it. I can close this one. I can go here. And I think this is the one, right? Yeah. So I can start asking questions, or else I can open a new chat. You need to click on this to open a new chat. And then I already have this model. So or else you can select this model and generate Flask API. Okay, I'm going to copy the same one. It is okay. I'm going to copy the same prompt. Let's see what kind of response I get. This one is from Quen 2.5, right? Maybe yeah, this is the input. Let me copy and paste. It's giving a different kind of response, but the whole intention is the same. You can see it is explaining with much more detail. Looks like it has some difficulty to load the model. Okay, let me stop the generation. Where is the code? Give me the code Flask API. Okay, now it starts generating the code, but it is not, I know, up to the mark, I can say, compared to Quen 2.5, right? Again, don't expect that one model will solve all the problems. As I told you before, there are various categories in this. You need to keep testing it. So you can see that I told you, right? The text and code, we have one set of models. Image and video will have another set of models, and audio we have another set of models altogether. If you want to see the various categories and the models corresponding models, Hugging Face is a good platform. You can see that for computer vision, for images and videos, this is the one. For natural language processing, that is text and code, here is the one. Now, thing is that even though text and code will come as one itself, that will come, I mean to say LM, but there are dedicated models for text and code separately. For code especially, we have models like DeepSeek Code, Quen, we have code llama, wherein these models are specifically for generating. If we test it, we'll come to know whether it can give the expected answers or not. You can see that we have tried few models here, right? MSGY, and when we compare to Quen, DeepSeek didn't work well for some reason. Maybe Q4 model. There are various versions of DeepSeek itself. We'll see that later, but here the Quen was working perfectly well. So I'll switch to Quen again. Or else maybe the 6.7 billion parameter, right? I have a better model, which is, I think this one. Let me share. Yeah, here I have a better model. Let me try this one. This is the same input. Let's see how it's going to respond. Unable to load model. All right. So I maybe because of memory issue. Let me try. Okay, let me close it and try it. Open it again. Here I have the model. Let me try. Okay, it still has some difficulty to load the model. Probably it's because it is not able to unload the previous model, and maybe a system restart will work. The problem is that there is no eject option here. I don't see any eject option here. Otherwise, we would have done it better. So we'll try other tool. I have GPT for all, wherein I have clear eject option. Let me close this one. GPT for all is, even though it is not specifically for Olama, MSGY is always better. But GPT for all is more for Hugging Face models, GGF based models. Here I have, right? I can start chanting, but if you want models, here is the list I have. Okay. So or else you can go here and search for models. Right now I have 2 models loaded in this. I can even add another model if I want. Add model, and then you can start searching for models, and you need to click on download. That's all. And once you have the model, you need to go to chat, and then you need to choose the model. I will show you both the models, and you will see the comparison between these 2 models. Okay. The same code, going to generate a Flask API. You can see that it is responding back well with the right okay. It has batch input, and this one, the Quen 32 billion parameter, right? Let me try other model, the block 6.7b parameter, the same input. It is not giving proper response. Do you observe that? I think you can see the difference, right? So this model is performing much better. So it's always something like trial and error before you deploy it and start utilizing it. You need to try a bunch of models. Only then you can get to a conclusion that this model perfectly, suits to my requirement. So let me in order to eject it, you have this option, right? Up arrow, click on this eject, and then let me switch to this one and start working on it. Let's take 2 endpoints. Maybe not Flask. Maybe I will ask for Django this time. You can see it's much faster than the previous one. It's clearly giving all the scripts. The only difference is these sort of tools will not generate the kind of output that we got it in bold.diy. You observe that? So it is going to create the files, and it's going to create the code, and you can simply download it. Whereas this one, you need to manually create those things. Okay. That is one disadvantage, but still you can manage it. It's not really difficult to create the files. Any questions up to here? We have a few more tools. We have discussed Volt DIY. We have discussed LM Studio, and we have discussed MSTY. We have discussed GPT for all. These are more of kind of tools, whereas this is a proper code generation, interface UI with whatever the model that you choose. And these are more of like a graphical user interface desktop apps. We will discuss few more, like in Visual Code itself, we have extension like continue, which is very powerful, but it is not consistent. That's the only problem that we see over there. We have tab 9 also. So we'll see these two extensions. So any questions up to here? If you're completely new to generative AI, you don't hesitate to ask questions. I think everyone has access to microphone. Vivek, Naveen, and Atomsi. Is it clear?
Clear, sir, clear.
Okay, we have even seen Olama, right? Olama in the sense terminal itself. Okay, we will see two more. We'll see a few examples using that. Let me open a Visual Code. I'll do one thing. So I'll open another folder. Okay, or maybe open terminal. Open in terminal code dot. Let me open this. In order to install continue extension on tab 9, you need to go to extensions here. Once you have this Visual Code, you need to search for continue. Here you can see continue code install Claude or something, right? You need to click on that. You need to install. So by default, it's going to something like this, install. You need to click on install. Once you install it, it's going to come like this. So I disabled this extension to demonstrate, to test tab 9. Let me enable this one. I will disable this in tab 9 for now, so that there won't be any conflict. Tab 9, where is it? Yeah, this one. Let me disable this one. Once I done that, Control-Shift-P, reload window. Now you can see continue extension, right? Let me demonstrate how this continue extension is going to be helpful. So let me click on this. I have already selected DeepSeek Coder here. DeepSeek Coder 16 billion parameter. By default, this is going to be Sonnet something, a Claude model. So in order to select the Olama model, what I did here is, and I need to click on Add Chat Model. I need to go here, search for Olama, and then you need to select the models that you have. So it is going to match exactly the one that is being shown in terminal. Right? Terminal, you have this list, right? The same list is going to display right here. Add chart model, select Olama, and then select one of these models. So once you select it, it's going to reflect right here. So let me create some, let me generate some Flask API like the way we did earlier. Let's see what happens. To start giving instructions on how to do it and what is the code for Flask API. 1 second, I think someone logged in just now. You can see that it starts generating the code, or else even there is a much more better way to do that. Let me create a file. Let me go here, file test.py. Okay, here you can see Control I to generate the code. So let me hold Control and then click I Now I got the interface, right? Generate Flask API. Okay, let me, yeah, here I have that text. Enter. I start writing to the file automatically. If you observe this, this is the batch. Okay, now I need to accept it. Here I have accept and deny, reject. So I need to click on accept. Now it generates the file, right? All right, everything so far so good. Let me modify. So let's say that I want to modify this code from JSON to CSV. So let's consider that the batch input is being provided in the form of CSV. Right? So I have selected that code wherein I have to modify it. Now I have two options: Control L for chart, Control I for edit. But I want to make modifications, right? And click on Control I. Okay, change batch input from JSON to CSV. Let's see what happens. I need to select the code, Control I, and then I got this window. I mentioned the prompt. Now it has to modify the file. Okay, it looks like it has not been modified. Let me try it again. Control I, modify the code to change from JSON to CSV format for batch file input. Now you can see that it start modifying it, right? Now you can see that the old code is in this color, pink, whereas the new code is in green. So you need to click on accept. Or else if you want to select only certain part of the code, you have this option accept, reject. And here you have accept and reject. But I want to specifically selected this code and modify it, right? So I can click on accept now. Now you can see that if I get CSV, it's going to accept CSV files. You can see that it's going to accept CSV files. So I have generated the code and I have even modified the code. For example, let's take that you want to complete the code, right? Let's say that this code is not being there. So only part of the code you have. So I'm going to select this, Control I, complete the code, wherein right now it is incomplete. So based on this is going to consider as an input, and it's going to generate the code. Now you can see you need to click on accept. That's all. It has created the complete code, isn't it? So we have seen how to generate the code, right? And what else we have? We have even modified the code and code completion. Let's try to explore any bugs. So try to insert some bugs in this. Let's take that. I don't want to import this. Okay. Let's take this is CSJ, C instead of CSV. I'm going to select the complete code because I have not even imported, right? So imported that library. Control I. I'm getting echo. So anyone ask questions? Hello? Avek, do you have any questions? Audio is not much clear. Anyway. So I'm going to select the code, right? And then here, please fix bugs in this code. That's all that's all I want to mention. And you can see that it's automatically imported, right? I started, correcting things. Instead of CSJ, I started mentioning it as JSON, right? So maybe, okay, I will go for this. But this is JSON, so I need CSV, isn't it? So I can specifically go for that particular code, modify from JSON to CSV, as the input is going to be a CSV file for batch input. Now you can see that it has modified to CSV files, right? CSV, read CSV. I can simply click on CSV. So that's all. I hope you're getting the picture now. So how these tools are going to be useful in, to solve real world problems, especially for coders or developers. You don't really need to be an expert in writing the code. These tools are good enough to, write in the code, even for bug fixes also. Not just that, let me show you another one. You can even generate test cases. Let's see that. For example, let's take that Control I, create maybe test cases for the given file and store it in another file named test.py. So I will create one. Let me copy this one. Test. Okay, so it looks like I don't have test.py. Looks like I have given. Okay, I wrongly mentioned the format extension, and now this makes sense. Maybe I will name it this as code.py, right? Uh, class code.py. Okay. I'll try to create a new file test.py. My intention is to take this code, generate all the possible test cases, and dump it in test.py. Let's try and see whether it works or not. You can see that it is generating the code, and there are, okay, so it's a PyTest. It is generating the code, but it is not modifying the file, isn't it? Let's see whether it has modified anything, has created anything or not. Test.py again, no, nothing. Let's try from here. Generate test cases on the possible test cases for the code given in class code.py. Let's try that. I should get, so you can see it start writing the code, but it is not modifying the code. So maybe you need to click on apply or something. You can see apply, right? Here you have the apply. Or maybe this is the finalized version. This is the finalized version. Maybe, okay. Let me click on apply. It has created test.py. It has created the code. Or the next one is apply. It has created one more file. Okay, so basically we manually need to go here and apply to generate the code. So for this code, it has generated both the unit test and integrate test. You can see that, right? So earlier it used to be a QA engineer or QA developer, right? QA tester, and they will write the test cases to make sure that the code that you provide is fitting to all sorts of inputs. Okay. So this is going to solve even test case also. What else we got remind? Do we have any other thing that has not been covered? We look for this one. Refactoring. Okay, refactoring is nothing but kind of adjusting or rewriting the code in a much more better way, in an optimized manner. So let's try that one. And even we haven't tried these three things: refactor, documentation, explanation, right? So let's try refactoring. Let's take that. I have this code. Maybe Control I, refactor or optimize this code. Start generating the code. Now let's create a test file test.py to include basic unit tests. All right, so it is even though it is taking the old name, but still pointing to Flask code. And it is saying that this is an optimized code compared to the previous one, right? Let's take that, we will do one thing. So we will take simple example and then complex one. Give me, all right, I'll create a new file, test3.py. Let me close these files. Here I have Control I. The file has been added. Now let's take create a palindrome code, which should be a non-optimized code. So I'm not bothering about optimization of the code for now. It's going to generate the code. It has generated the code. Now let me accept this. Now I have the code. Now let me optimize this one. Okay. So Control I, refactor or optimize this code. Let's see, it's going to give us any modifications. You can see that it is modified. So the whole if condition has been put on right here itself, in one line itself, which is much more optimized. Now you can see the difference, right? This if else instead of here, it has written right in the print statement itself with the F return strings. So let me accept this. So this is the way that we can optimize the code. So you don't require to be an expert in all. Just by knowing basics of Python, you can generate the code, you can modify the code, you can fix bugs, you can complete the code if it is partial. You can even optimize the code. You can even write test cases, right? Let me, okay, here I have the code, but I don't know what exactly these, what this code does. So Control I, add documentation to this. Literal strings. Literal strings in the sense it's going to wrap the documentation part in quotes. You can see that start right in the code. You can see that, right? Let me even test case also. Okay, let me apply both. Start applying it. Okay. So here I have, let me, where is, yeah, here accept. Yeah, everything is good. Let me close this one. Which file we are working on? So test3.py, right? Okay, it has written the code right here and it has added the documentation part. How it's going to be helpful, let me show you that. So is palindrome. When you place cursor on this, you can see that it is giving a documentation. It's explaining what this function does, what all the parameters that this has. And it's exactly, this code exactly matches with this one. Do you observe that? Right? The same thing. So if even if you import this code somewhere else, it's going to do the same thing. Let's take let's say test4.py, right? What is the file name from test3, right? Import is palindrome. And start utilizing this palindrome. Let me place cursor on this. Okay, maybe it has not imported well. Let me try that. On test4 dot. Okay, nothing. No such file or directory. Okay, looks like it is being landed right here. So I'm going to, it is created a temporary folder that is creating the issue. Okay, anyway, now okay, Control Shift P, reload. What about this one? Okay, this does not contain any context. So the problem is that this code, this temporary folder, we have not applied properly. So I'm going to replace this code here. Now I will go back to test4.py. Now let me, okay, now you can see that wherever I imported, I can see the complete documentation part. Okay, because that's exactly what we have mentioned right here. So that's the idea behind documentation. Or else there is another way to add documentation. That's, let's take Control I, right? I think, where do I have that from? Let me open this right here. Control I, add line by line explanation to the code next to each line, each piece of code as a comment. I can see that it is adding lines. Let me apply this. Now you can see, and let me accept this one, accept and accept. Now you can see that it is adding line, explaining the code. It is going to do for the remaining part of code too, but for some reason it is not. Maybe I need a better code. Let me try another one, test5.py, Control I don't require these files anymore. Create a Flask API, a very basic Flask API that wraps the ML model. Okay, let me generate the code first. Okay, looks like this file has not been added. Control, now it has been added. Now enter. Accept. I need line, I need explanation as comment to each line of the code here. All right, so I think I have not selected it. Control I. I need explanation for each line of the code here as comment next, immediately next to the code. Okay. Looks like it has not generated much, already has. Let me delete this one and see whether it generates out on its own or not. Right? Okay. Let's try it now. Generate code explanation as comment immediately next to each line of the code given here. I start adding code. You see that? So there's a form in the form of comments, right? So let me accept it. Now it has added the comment, I mean to say, the code explanation. So we have seen how to document it and code explanation also. Or else, let me just select this code, Control I, explain me about the code. So it's going to give explanation right here itself. Okay, so looks like some issue again. Control I, explain me about the code in bullet points. One problem with continue is it is not consistently working. That is the only issue. Explain me. Okay, or else I think it's not control I. I think we should select control L. Okay, maybe control L. Yeah. Explain me about the code in bullet points. I started control L. Okay, there is again some issue. Let me take a new file. Test 6.py. Let me copy this code, control L. Explain me about the code. Okay, now we start explaining things. Importing necessary modules. And what are those models? Flask, joblib, and NumPy. A brief description on those libraries. Create a Flask API. This line will create a Flask application. And thereafter we can train a model, machine learning model. And thereafter we can define an API endpoint and error handling and so on and so forth. So it's explaining the whole thing. So we have seen a good number of examples on this thing, refactoring, documentation, explanation, bug fixes, code compression generation, even test case. The Tab9 is an alternative. Let me show you. But Tab9 is very good at generating test cases. So let me show you that. Let me go here. Right, continue. I'm going to disable this one. I will try to enable Tab9 here. Enable this one. And let me reload it. Control Shift P, reload, enter. Now the tab9 is available. You can see that whenever I enable tab9, right immediately on top of the code, I have this option tab9 edit. If you want to make any edit, you have it here. Or test case, if you want to generate in test case right here. If you need code explanation, you can see it explain. A document, if you want to create in document, you can do that too. So let me click on document and see what happens. Processing your request. It is showing right here itself. So it's not at another window. Of course, we have another one, a window. Let me click on this. If you need explanation, just you need to / explain code or generate text code. So you need to select one of these plugins kind of, wherein it's going to do the job. We'll see, we will generate test case also in a short while. It is using Claude 3.5 Sonnet, so there is a very less flexibility when it comes to loading our own model. That is one problem with tab9, and there are limitations. If you keep on utilizing, so there is some cap. So you can't raise the number of requests with the tab9. It is paid one. For free, it is very limited. Let me generate the code and generate. Okay, let me click on this one and continue. I don't have a test plan, so I'm going to click on continue. It's going to generate test plan for the code that we have started previously, which is very impressive in tablet. Of course, the continue also we can generate test cases. Here you can see clear test cases for each one. Should return 400 error when no input is provided. So what is the code for it? It is going to generate the code for that. You can see that code, right? You need to click on apply. So once you apply it, it's going to create some file somewhere. Okay, I think this is the one. You can see that it has generated the code. Let me try another one. Where do we have that? Yes, this one, right? Is that? Yeah, here. Generating test. And here you have apply. It has to reflect right here itself. I think the problem is that we have generated too many files. That is, there is some ambiguity. could not insert the select diff. Okay. It has some difficulty to insert the diff, but these are test cases that it generates. To return a valid prediction when given correct. Okay, you can see that it has generated another one. So it's going to generate various test cases with this. Earlier, it used to take days to weeks, for a QA developer to observe the code, to understand the code, and generate test cases, right? With all the possibilities, making sure that there won't be any, errors. Other than they basically QA engineers will generate various test cases where it can handle any sort of errors, so that user is going to be safe. Whereas these sort of models will generate automatically in just few seconds, as long as you have right resources. That's all, with right extensions. Right. So, any questions? Naveen and Ratnavamsi? Are you there? I know it's been 1.5 hours almost, but this is going to be very helpful being in IT industry. Ratnavamsi or Naveen, any questions? All right, that's it from my end. If you have any plans to start another webinar on generative AI, we'll share it with you. Request you to join, and if you have any difficulty in, yeah, welcome them. If you have any difficulty while implementing it, you can always reach to us. We even offer a generative AI course. Let me show you that. VLR training. Here we have vlrtraining.com, not .in. We have another website, vlrtraining.com. Here we have vlrtraining.com. Here we have generative AI. And if you scroll down, you have the complete this one, content. And this is going to be around 3 months with at least 10 to 15 generative AI projects. You can always reach to this number 905-986-8766. So let us know for any queries. That's it from my end. That's it for today. We'll meet another webinar. Or if you opt for a generative AI course, a full-fledged course, which is going to be for 3 months, let us know. I will provide a demo to you. Right? Thanks.